All right, good evening, everybody. I would like to call the September 22nd policy meeting to order. And since we have no public comment, I'm going to turn over to Ms. Graham to get us started on our policies for today.
Thank you. All right, this evening we have a couple of policies, the first of which are EF, and its accompanying rule, which is food services. And this is being updated in accordance with our change as a district to being a CEP district. And so you'll see there that most of the information that is being removed is about the rules and procedures for acquiring payment for meals and what students get and that sort of thing. And it is being replaced by the information about CEP, indicating that student lunches, breakfast and lunches will be free, and providing information on that program.
How long is that program? Are we enrolled before we have to like reapply?
I believe, is it 5 years?
4 years.
4 years.
So it's good to update policy.
Yes, yes, we
Well,
did actually.
I didn't know if it was like year to year. I was gonna say.
We did consider leaving both in there as an or, but honestly, it would be very confusing for people. And so we decided it was better to update it. And then if for some reason we're no longer CEP in the future, we'll adjust.
Anybody have questions on these policies or that policy when they were looking at it? Anything? I mean, just honestly talk about program.
And then we also have the accompanying rule to that, EFR, food services. Again, just being updated in accordance with the CEP status. The changes here are again in terms of charge accounts, unpaid balances, things of that nature. And so you'll see this there. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. One big change here is that students will not be permitted to charge any food item. Given that they get free breakfast and lunch, any food item that they would be paying for would be additional, like a la carte items or things of that nature. And so there wouldn't be a need for students to charge because they will have already gotten.
So we should have like no unpaid balances, like as.
Yeah, but we did leave the information on unpaid balances because we have people who've carried those over, so.
Okay. But no one, does it block it from them being able to like go negative if, you know,
It shouldn't be
like if
charged.
they're getting a second lunch or something?
They got second months. Stop.
They have to have
So they
money in
would-
it, right? If
Did
it's
stop
not,
you wouldn't
there's no
stop
money.
it? Okay.
I think that's up to the cafeteria manager.
They would have to stop.
Yes, the person on the
Say
has to
like,
pay.
fine,
Oh,
yes.
oh, okay. I didn't. Hard to be lying. You're
Yeah,
still.
those.
Use that word.
Things can be fast, but I looked at them like. Anybody else have questions?
No. Good update.
Great. Next, we have policy GBC, which is staff compensation, and this is being updated in accordance with the changes from the Educator Assistance Act. Primarily referring to the changes in the statute regarding notification to teachers of the projected salary schedule prior to the district actually adopting a salary schedule, because as we've talked about before, the salary schedule is not typically adopted until after teachers sign contracts. We actually did that this year voluntarily before the statute passed, so just sort of keeping in line with that, but that is the primary change here.
So what did we post this year? Was it based on last year's pay and then you adjusted it once we knew if we were gonna get like a millage and all that? So
Yes.
it's varied.
We try not to be too specific because we would love to do more, but if we did more and then we didn't have the funds to do more, that would be a little confusing. So
Yeah, you don't wanna, you'd rather under promise and over deliver than.
Oh, isn't the operative word here projected?
correct.
So
And then you'll see I made a couple of notes there on things differing from the model.
Was it the yellow?
It's actually, I made the comments so that you can see specifically the thoughts. So one is in terms of, and then 1, 2, 3, fourth paragraph down. It says that when we will notify teachers of their contract, the model just said before May 1st, but the statute says on or before May 1st. So I suggested including on or before, just to encapsulate that. And then a few sentences down from that, I have not in brackets. And that is because it's not included in the model, but I'm fairly certain that that's a typo and that it should be that a loss or reduction in state, local, or federal funding that was not anticipated by the district at the time of the projected salary schedule, then we would notify them. Right now, it says if it was projected, and I'm like, well, then we would have, no, so I think it's just a typo.
Okay, yeah.
But I wanted to notate it because it was different than
Should send that to
the model. I will, I'll let them know.
Anyone have questions?
All right, next is policy GCB, which is professional staff contracts and compensation, again, updated in accordance with the Educator Assistance Act, and primarily related to the changes in contracts, as well as the removal of references to the Terry program, given that that does not exist.
Under the contract paragraph. On completion of the statute. And local appropriation, should that be statute?
State, it should be state and local
Oh, Even better.
appropriations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Which one was this?
On
Professional, GCB.
Okay. Have we done anything with their contracts? You know, I know previously Dr. Robin was talking about negotiating and like having a little bit more information in them. We ever adjusted those or?
We adjusted them in the past 2 years. We've added some more specificity into the contract. So yes, we've made some updates.
Questions? I think we're good. Ms. Graham.
And then next and lastly, we have policy IC, school year. Again, this is being updated in accordance with the Educator Assistance Act, which reflected a change in the number of days used for professional development versus teacher preparation at the beginning of the school year.
We had some like concerns about this at the beginning of the year. We handled that though, right?
Yeah, we're gonna make some adjustments to that. I know, as the academic department, I know we talked about giving him some more time in the classroom. Because that one thing there, the remaining 4 days may be used for teacher preparation, planning, academic plans, and parent conferences. So right now they only have 2, so we're looking at getting a little bit more there. We talked, so I know that was a big concern for teachers this past year, so.
This just gives you this updates it with the law, but you still have that flexibility to adjust it.
Yeah, the big thing was when we ran into problems, I think it was, we had the convocation the same night as 6th grade orientation, so I didn't have a lot of time to prepare, so there was some little issues there, so, and we talked about some of that, so.
Gosh, I feel like this was too easy, Ms. Graham. Should have had harder questions for you, but. Anybody else have any concerns, questions? We could get done like in the fastest policy meeting ever. 10 minutes? Not even, I mean, I think we started at like 5:01.
So I do have a question about this. I was thinking about this when I read it earlier. So it says superintendent will present the proposed calendar to the board for approval in the spring of each year. So would that, I'm assuming doing it earlier is not a big deal, but would that stop us from doing a 2-year calendar if we wanted to?
I mean, I don't see that you would get a lot of objection on that. I mean, if we want to modify it, but I would,
I'm not saying we're doing that anyway necessarily, but it's something we've talked about doing. So I just was wondering
Is there anything in law or policy that prohibits us from doing a 2-year calendar? Even though we currently do it on an annual basis.
I think there's a good number of districts around the state that do use 2-year calendars.
I
So
think the only reason we had waited was because we wanted some research on some alternative calendar options that never came to fruition, like the possible 4-day week and stuff like that. It was something we talked about as a board, but I think that's always why we waited to approve it so many years out, just so we can, the flexibility to do that, but yeah.
And just to kind of piggyback on that is, in the spring, then we'll bring to you kind of like all the in-service days, what those will look like. I know the academic team and we'll all talk about what those days will look like, those 10 days.
Mhm.
And so we'll put those throughout the calendar. That'll come back. But again, the initial calendar for the big breaks is what we're bringing to you tonight,
Right.
just for information only tonight. So.
I mean, I like that we've been approving it earlier than spring. I think it's super.
It's a lot better. I agree.
So,
Yeah, that was a big thing with a lot of the parents. They appreciated, I met with the PTA and that was, I think I sent you some of that information. It was good feedback from them as well. And I know Jennifer did a really good job of, getting principals involved, some other stakeholders, like teachers, principals, parents. So, so she'll present again tonight for information, but just trying to make sure we get everybody, involved with that process. So.
if you all were inclined, we could add a statement there. The superintendent will present the proposed calendar to the board for approval no later than the spring of each year.
I like that, yeah.
That sort of gives a little more flexibility, but
I was gonna say, like, I like the idea of it being done, earlier, but I don't wanna just, you never know. Maybe there's certain research we have to do, and I think that's the latest we should, so. That makes sense.
I like that.
That was not my call. Good job, Christy. Well, since there's no more public comment, and that was very fast, I guess we will adjourn this meeting.